Information and communication technology has created interdependencies we've never seen before. We are a global village, and what happens in one part of the world affects all of us. We live in an era where digital evidence is rampant in every crime.
Cybercrime doesn't stay still. It's constantly evolving. We see it in human trafficking. We see it in drug related offenses and terrorism. We see it in money laundering. We see it in firearms trafficking. Pure cybercrime as well.
Sometimes you're exposed without knowing you're exposed. They can actually simultaneously steal information from potentially millions of people at one time. And then that data itself has now become a market in its own rights. It is a daily challenge.
When you hear the word cybercriminal or hacker, what image comes to your mind? Is it a sketchy guy, probably wearing a dark hoodie, camped away in a dank basement somewhere, typing away furiously? While that's the image in public consciousness, thanks to movies and TV, the real picture of a cybercriminal is much different. Cybercrime is incredibly professionalized and very well organized. Cybercrime is criminal activity that either targets or uses a computer network, or a network device. Cybercrime, especially through the internet, has grown in importance as the computer has become central to commerce, entertainment, and government. Cybercriminals buy and sell malware online, generally on what is called the dark web, while also trading in services that test how robust a virus is, business intelligence dashboards to track malware deployment, and tech support. That's right, these crooks can contact a criminal helpline to troubleshoot their illegal hacking servers and other malfeasance. The professionalization and proliferation of cybercrime adds up to countless costs and damages every year, impacting individuals, businesses, and even governments. Experts estimate that cybercrime damages will reach $6 trillion annually by 2021, making it one of the most lucrative criminal enterprises. As the Internet of Things evolves and smart devices become more popular, cybercriminals benefit from a much broader attack surface, increased opportunities to penetrate security measures, gain unauthorized access, and commit crimes. As the saying goes, there is more than one way to skin a cat, and there are most certainly a variety of ways to make money as a cyber criminal. As mentioned, cyber criminals range from individuals to criminal organizations to state sponsored actors. Just as the type of criminal varies, so do their crimes and the methods they use to break the law. From a single hacker who managed to hack into the US stock market to North Korean state sponsored groups that propagated ransomware on a massive scale, there are a staggering amount of cybercriminals active every day. Moreover, expert skills are no longer required to become a cyber crook. Now here are some standard examples of cybercrime to watch out for. Cyberbullying.
Cyberbullying or cyber harassment is a form of bullying or harassment using electronic means. It is also known as online bullying. Cyberbullying is when someone is targeting you online, doing or saying things that upset you, or trying to make you look bad to others. This could be by writing nasty things about you, either in a public way, like commenting on a YouTube video, replying on Twitter, or tweeting about you, writing Facebook posts about you, or commenting on your post, writing a blog about you, etc. Or it could be a more private bully who may send you emails, Facebook PMs, private Twitter and Instagram messages, and so on. Now, let's see what are the common types of cyberbullying that happens today. Exclusion. It is the act of leaving someone out deliberately. For example, a person might be excluded or uninvited to groups or parties while they see other friends being included, or left out of message threads or conversations that involve mutual friends. Harassment. It is a broad category under which many types of cyberbullying fall into, but it generally refers to a sustained and constant pattern of hurtful or threatening online messages sent with the intention of doing harm to someone. Outing, also known as doxing, refers to the act of openly revealing sensitive or personal information about someone without their consent for purposes of embarrassing or humiliating them. This can range from the spreading of personal photos or documents of public figures to sharing an individual's saved personal messages in an online private group. Trickery. It is similar to outing with an added element of deception. In these situations, the bully will befriend their target and lull them into a false sense of security. Once the bully has gained their target's trust, they abuse that trust and share the victim's secrets and private information to a third party or multiple third parties. Cyberstalking. It is a form of online harassment in which the perpetrator uses electronic communications to stalk a victim. This is considered more dangerous than other forms of cyberbullying because it generally involves a credible threat to the victim's safety. Framing. It is when a bully uses a person's social networking accounts to post inappropriate content with their name. It can be harmless when friends write funny posts on each other's profiles, but it has potential to be incredibly harmful. Masquerading. It happens when a bully creates a made up profile or identity online with the sole purpose of cyberbullying someone. This could involve creating a fake email account, fake social media profile, and selecting a new identity and photos to fool the victim. Dissing. It refers to the act of a bully spreading cruel information about their target through public posts or private messages to either ruin their reputation or relationships with other people. In these situations, the bully tends to have a personal relationship with the victim either as an acquaintance or as a friend. When bullying happens online, it can feel as if you are being attacked everywhere, even inside your own home. It can seem like there's no escape. The effects can last a long time and affect a person emotionally, physically, and mentally. The feeling of being laughed at or harassed by others can prevent people from speaking up or trying to deal with the problem. In extreme cases, cyberbullying can even lead to people taking their own lives. So, what can you do to handle it? If you think you're being bullied, the first step is to seek help from someone that you trust, such as your parents, a close family member, or another trusted adult. In your school, you can reach out to a counselor or your favorite teacher. And if you're not comfortable talking to someone you know, search for a helpline to talk to a professional counselor. If the bullying is happening on a social platform, consider blocking the bully and formally reporting their behavior on the platform itself. Social media companies are obligated to keep their users safe. It can also help to show the bully that their behavior is unacceptable. For bullying to stop, it needs to be identified and reporting it is key.
Online rumors.
Rumors are pieces of information or a story that has not been verified. What this means is that the person telling the story does not know for certain if it is true or not. Most of the time, people who spread rumors do not bother to determine if there is any truth to what they are saying. Typically, rumors are spread from person to person and can change slightly each time they are told. As a result, they can become exaggerated and altered over time. People often think that they can make a fake profile with some different names and do anything online and will not be caught. Through such fake profiles, people sometimes indulge in posting false information on social media or comments that could hurt others. To spread rumors in may trigger panic or hurt religious sentiments of other people, resulting into clashes and sometimes even riots. Spreading rumors online is punishable. The rumor is propagated through the population by powers contacts between spreaders
and others in the population. Any spreader involved in a pairwise meeting attempts to infect the other individual with the rumor. In the case this other individual is an ignorant, he or she becomes a spreader.
Social networks like Facebook and Twitter are reshaping the way people take collective action. It has been argued that the instantaneous nature of these networks influence the speed at which events are unfolding. It is quite remarkable that social networks spread news so fast. Both the structure of social networks and the process that distributes the news are not designed with this purpose in mind. On the contrary, they are not designed at all, but have evolved in random and decentralized manner.
Governments, companies, and users are all waking up to how serious public opinion manipulation, as manifested in fake news, can be. Governments are starting to recognize that false rumors are something that must be actively fought. Various government agencies are now setting up services to debunk stories that they consider to be false. Regulations have also been imposed and they has been punishing the sites that publish misinformation. So, what should you do if someone is spreading rumors about you? Turn to a trusted adult for support. Talk to someone you can confide in, like a parent, teacher, school counselor, or coach. Find your friends, find a friend or two who will stick by you and who won't listen to rumors. Speak up.
Information theft.
Information theft or data theft is the act of stealing information stored on computers, servers, or other devices from an unknowing victim with the intent to compromise privacy or obtain confidential information. Data theft is a growing problem for individual computer users as well as large corporations and organizations. Data theft occurs both outside and inside companies, and reducing the risk of insider data theft at the corporate level is anything but easy. This is especially true because system administrators and employees have access to technology such as database servers, desktop computers, and external devices including USBs, smartphones, and other removable and mobile devices. Common ways in which cybercriminals get hold of your data. Data breaches. A data breach happens when someone gains access to an organization's data without authorization. The most common types of information stolen in data breaches include full names, social security numbers, and credit card numbers. Unsecure browsing. For the most part, you can browse the internet safely, especially if you stick to well known websites. But if you share any information on an unsecure website or a website that has been compromised by hackers, you could be putting your sensitive information directly in the hands of a thief. Depending on your browser, you may get an alert if you try to access a risky website. Mail theft. Since long before the internet, identity thieves have been combing through the mail to find documents that held personal information. Bank and credit card statements and any other document you send or receive through the postal systems can be intercepted and used to gain access to your data. Wi-Fi hacking. If you use your computer or phone on a public network like airport, department store, or coffee shop, Wi-Fi hackers may be able to eavesdrop on your connection. This means that if you type in a password, bank account, or a credit card number, social security number, or anything else, an eavesdropper can easily intercept it and use it for their own purposes. How can you prevent information theft? Use password protection wherever possible. Encrypt data. Protected informations against viruses and malware. Keep your software and operating systems up to date. Secure access to your network. Verify security controls of third parties. Be alert to phishing and spoofing.
Cyberstalking.
Cyberstalking is the use of the internet or other electronic means to stalk or harass an individual, group, or organization. It may include false accusation, defamation, slander, and libel. It may also include monitoring, identity theft, threats, vandalism, solicitation, or gathering information that may be used to threaten, embarrass, or harass. Cyberstalking does not have to involve direct communication, and some victims may not even realize they are being stalked online. In some cases, the line between cyberspace and real life can become blurred. Attackers can collect your personal data, contact your friends, and attempt to harass you offline. Cyberstalking can take many different forms, but in the broadest sense, it is stalking or harassment that takes place via online channels such as social media, forums, or emails. It is typically planned and sustained over a period of time. Typically, most cyber stalkers know their victims and instead of resorting to offline stalking, they use the internet to stalk. A cyber stalker relies upon the anonymity offered by the internet to allow them to stalk their victims without being detected. Other cases of cyberstalking, particularly those involving celebrities or other high-profile individuals, might involve complete strangers. Some perpetrators suffer from mental health issues and even believe their behavior is welcomed. Cyberstalking isn't always conducted by individuals and might involve a group of people. They could be targeting an individual, group, or organization for various reasons, including opposing beliefs, revenge, or financial gains. How to avoid cyber stalking? As with many things in life, it's better to be protective than reactive when it comes to cyber stalking. Becoming a victim will be far less likely if you can do some simple steps. Keep a low profile. You should always avoid posting personal details such as your address and phone number and think carefully about revealing real time information such as where you are and who you're with. Update your software. Regular software updates are crucial when it comes to preventing information leaks. Many updates are developed to patch security vulnerabilities and help ensure your information remains safe. Hide your IP address. Many application and service reveal your IP address to the person with whom you are communicating. Cyberstalkers can begin with your IP address and use it to find your credit card data and physical address. Maintain good digital hygiene. Digital hygiene is a new term but represents a very important topic, especially with regard to social networks. Maintaining good digital hygiene helps protect you from cyber harassments, cyberbullying, and cyber stalking. Avoid disclosing sensitive information. Disclosing sensitive information increases the likelihood of someone getting their hand on your personal data. What to do in case you're being cyber stalked? Block the person. If the tools are there, block anyone who you wish to stop hearing from, even if the messages are just annoying and not threatening. Only you can decide when this boundary has been passed. Report to the platform involved. If someone is harassing or threatening you, you should block them immediately and report their behavior to the platform involved. Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and many other platforms have created easy to use button to quickly report abusive behavior. Call the police. If you believe their behavior is illegal or you fear for your safety, then you should contact the police and report.
Piracy.
Piracy refers to the unauthorized duplication of copyrighted content that is then sold at substantially lower prices in the grey market. The ease of access to technology has meant that over the years, piracy has become more prevalent. There are 5 main types of software piracy. Counterfeiting. This type of piracy is used in the illegal duplication, distribution, and/or for the sale of copyrighted material with the intent of imitating the copyrighted product. Plagiarism. In the case of packed software, it is common to find counterfeit copies of the compact disc incorporating the software programs as well as the related packaging, manuals, license agreements, labels, registration cards, and security features. Internet piracy. This occurs when a software is downloaded from the internet. Common internet piracy techniques are websites that make software available for free download or in exchange for others, internet auction sites that offer counterfeit or out-of-channel software, peer-to-peer network that enable unauthorized transfer of copyrighted programs. Hard disk loading. This occurs when a business sells new computers with illegal copies of software loaded into the hard disk to make the purchase of the machines more attractive and more convenient for the user. End user piracy. This occurs when an individual reproduces copies of software without authorization. These include using one license copy to install a program on multiple computers, copying disks for installation or distribution, taking advantage of upgrade offers without having a legal copy of the version to be upgraded, acquire academic or other restricted or non-retail software without a proper license, swapping disks in or outside the workplace. Client-server overuse. This type of piracy occurs when too many users on a network are using a central copy of a program at the same time. If you have a local area network and install programs on the server for several people to use, you have to be sure that your license entitles you to do so. If you have more users than allowed by the license, then that is called as overuse.
Hacking. While breaching privacy to detect cybercrime works well, when the crimes involve the theft and misuse of information, ranging from credit card numbers and personal data to file sharing of various commodities like music and videos, one of the crimes that attempt to wreak havoc on the very workings of the machines that make up the network. The story of hacking actually goes back to the 1950s when a group of freaks, short for phone freaks, began to hijack portions of the world's telephone networks, making unauthorized long distance calls and setting up special party lines for fellow freaks. By the late 1970s, the informal freaking culture began to coalesce into quasi-organized groups of individuals who graduated from the telephone network to hacking corporate and government computer network systems. The term hacker has come to refer to individuals who gain unauthorized access to computer networks, whether from another computer network or as personal computers became available from their own computer systems. One thing to notice is that most hackers have not been criminals in the sense of being vandals or of seeking illicit financial rewards. Instead, most have been young people driven by intellectual curiosity. However, as some hackers sought notoriety among their peers, their exploits lead to clear-cut crimes. These exploits grew as hackers not only broke into, but sometimes took control of government and corporate computer networks. The scale of hacking crimes is among the most difficult to assess because the victims often prefer not to report the crimes, sometimes out of embarrassment or fear of further security breaches. Officials estimate, however, that hacking costs the world economy billions of dollars annually. And on the other hand, not all hackers are criminals, who are also known as the black hat hackers. There are a few who are called white hat hackers, meaning they practice ethical hacking. It is nothing but identifying weaknesses in computer systems or computer networks and coming up with countermeasures that protect these weaknesses. Cyber trolling.
If you've been on the internet for any period of time, you've likely run into a troll at some point. An internet troll is someone who makes intentionally inflammatory, rude, or upsetting statements online to elicit strong emotional responses in people or to steer the conversation off topic. They can come in many forms. Most trolls do this for their own amusement, but other forms of trolling are done to push a specific agenda. This type of online bullying constitutes of posting about or directly sending insults and profanity to their target. Flaming is similar to trolling but will usually be a more direct attack on a victim to incite them into online fights. Trolling is distinct from other forms of cyberbullying or harassment. It is normally not targeted towards any one person and relies on other people paying attention and becoming provoked. Trolling exists on many online platforms from small private group chats to the biggest social media websites. The places online where we can likely see trolls happening are listed below. Anonymous online forums. Places like Reddit, 4chan, and other anonymous message boards are prime real estate for online trolls. Because there's no way of tracing who someone is, trolls can post very inflammatory content without repercussion. This is especially true if the forum has lax or inactive moderation. Twitter. Twitter also has the option to be anonymous and has become a hotbed for internet trolls. Frequent Twitter trolling methods involve hijacking popular hashtags and mentioning popular Twitter personalities to gain attention from their followers. Comment sections. The comment sections of places such as YouTube and news websites are also popular areas for trolls to feed. You will find a lot of obvious trolling here, and they frequently generate a lot of responses from angry readers or viewers. The most classic adage regarding trolling is don't feed the trolls. Trolls seek out emotional responses and find provocation amusing, so replying to them or attempting to debate them will only make them troll more. By ignoring a troll completely, they will likely become frustrated and go somewhere else on the internet. You should try your best not to take anything trolls say seriously, no matter how poorly they behave. Remember, these people spend countless unproductive hours trying to make people mad. They are not worth your time of day. If a troll becomes spammy or begins to clog up a thread, you can also opt to report them to the site's moderation team. Depending on the website, there is a chance nothing happens, but you should do your part to actively dissuade them from trolling on that platform. If your report is successful, the troll may be temporarily suspended or their account might be banned entirely.
Scamming.
The term scamming is closely related to the criminological terminology of the advanced fraud, but particularly includes many forms of online frauds. Deceivers use false pretenses to try to persuade their victim into making a payment in advance. At the same time, they promise profits, inheritances, or slightly higher repayments. Once criminals receive payment, contact is usually terminated immediately. A fulfillment of the aforementioned promise doesn't follow, and paid money is usually irrevotably lost. Making contact online generally happens through email, but now contact can also be made through chat portals, messengers, and social networks. Scammers have even spread to online marketplaces for real estate, jobs, and used cars. Now we will see some of the common type of scams. Job scam. Internet criminals use the distress of job seekers to their advantage. They entice them with a dream job, top pay, and minimal work hours. Usually, the victim is supposed to transfer money for work materials, uniforms, or shoes in advance. Once the money is delivered to the scammers, contact is broken off. There is never a contract of employment, and the supposedly purchased goods are not eligible. Greeting card scams. Whether it is a Christmas or Easter, we all get all kind of holiday greeting cards in our email inbox that seem to be coming from a friend or someone we care. If you open such email and click on the card, you usually end up with malicious software that is being downloaded and installed on your operating system. The malware may be an annoying program that will launch pop-ups with ads, unexpected windows all over the screen. Email scams. Phishing emails that try to trick you into revealing your bank details. They may direct you to a copycat website that look like your bank's website. Standard traveler emails. They are supposedly from a friend whose email account has been probably hacked, who says they have been robbed abroad and ask you to send them money. Advance fee. The sender has something valuable and offer a reward for your help moving it from one country to another, but you have to make a payment or provide bank details. Inheritance. Someone has left you money in a will and you have to send an administration fee to get the money. Lottery scams. A lottery scam comes as an email message informing you that you own a huge amount of money, and in order to claim your prize or winnings, you need to pay some small fees. It doesn't even matter that you don't recall ever purchasing lottery tickets. Our imagination falls prey easily to amazing scenarios someone can only dream of. But the dream ends as soon as you realize you have just been another scam victim. How do you avoid online scams? Never enter personal information or any financial information on unsecure website. Never reply to emails from any unknown or unreliable sources. Never click on any links that you have received in your email, even if you know the sender. Rather, open a browser window and type the URL yourself than clicking on the link in the email. Never respond to an email or advertisement claiming you have won something.
Denial of service attacks.
These represent the next step in the evolution of DOS attacks as a way of disrupting the internet. These attacks use large number of compromised computers as well as other electronic devices such as webcams and smart televisions that make up the ever-increasing Internet of Things to force the shutdown of targeted websites, server or network. Security vulnerabilities in Internet of Things device can make them accessible to cybercriminals seeking to anonymously and easily launch DDoS attacks. In contrast, a DOS attack generally uses a single computer and a single IP address to attack its target, making it easier to defend against. Types of denial of service attacks. Flooding attacks. Flooding is the most common DOS or denial of service attack. It occurs when the attacked system is overwhelmed by large amount of traffic that the server is unable to handle. The system eventually stops. A ICMP flood, that is Internet Control Message Protocol, also known as the ping flood, is a type of DOS attack that sends spoofed packages of information. In computing network, IP address spoofing or IP spoofing is a creation of Internet Protocol packages with false source IP address. An example of spoofing is when an email is sent from a false sender address that asks the recipient to provide sensitive data. This email would also contain a link to a malicious website that contains a malware that sends spoofed packages of information that hits every computer and in a targeted network, taking advantage of misconfigured network devices. A SYN flood is a variation that exploits a vulnerability in the TCP connection sequence. SYN is the short form of synchronize and is the first step in establishing communication between two systems over the TCP or IP protocol. When a system receives SYN request, it responds with SYN ACK synchronizing acknowledged messages. A SYN flood is a form of denial of service attack in which an attacker rapidly initiates a connection to a server without finalizing the connection. The server has to spend resources waiting for half-opened connection, which can consume enough resources to make the system unresponsive to legitimate traffic. Standard Internet communication protocols that allow digital computers to communicate over long distances. This is often referred to as three-way handshake connection. That is this spoofing with the host and the server. Here's how it works. The targeted server receives a request to begin the handshake, but in a SYN flood, the handshake is never completed. That leaves the connected port as occupied and unavailable to process further requests. Meanwhile, the cybercriminal continues to send more and more requests, overwhelming all open ports and shutting down the server. Crash attacks. Crash attacks occur less often when cybercriminals transmit bugs that exploits the flaws in targeted systems. As a result of this, the computer system gets crashed. Crash attacks and flooding attacks prevent legitimate users from accessing online services such as websites, gaming sites, emails, and bank accounts. DOS attack is used to tie up a website resources so that users who need to access the site cannot do so. Many major companies have been the focus of DOS attacks because a DOS attack can be easily engineered from nearly any location. Finding those responsible can be extremely difficult. DOS attacks generally take one of the two forms. They either flood web services or crash them. Let's see in detail how. How to prevent DOS attacks. Get help recognizing these attacks. Companies often use technology or anti-DDoS services or distributed denial of service attacks to help defend themselves. These can help you recognize between legitimate spikes in network traffic and DDoS attack. Contact your internet service provider. If you find your website is under attack, you should notify your internet service provider as soon as possible to determine if your traffic can be rerouted. Also consider services that can disperse the massive DDoS traffic among network or services. Investigate black hole routing. Black hole routing directs excessive traffic into a null route, sometimes referred to as black hole. This can help prevent the targeted website or network from crashing. In networking, black holes refer to places in network where incoming or outgoing traffic is silently discarded without informing the source that the data did not reach its intended recipient. The drawback is that both legitimate and illegitimate traffic is rerouted in the same way in black hole routing. Configure firewalls and routers. Firewalls and routers should be configured to reject bogus traffic. Remember to keep your routes and firewalls updated with the latest security patches. A firewall is a security device that monitors incoming and outgoing network traffic and decides whether to allow or block specific traffic based on a defined set of security rules. Firewalls have been a first line of defense in security for over 25 years. And bogus is meaning for not genuine or true, which is fake. Configure firewalls and routers. Consider front-end hard drive. Application front-end hard drive that's integrated into a network before traffic reaches a server can help analyze and screen data packets. The hardware classifies the data as priority, regular, or dangerous as they enter a system. This can also help block threatening data.
Online fraud.
Online fraud is not considered a single distinctive crime but covers a range of illegal and illicit actions that are committed in cyberspace. It is, however, differentiated from theft since in this case the victim voluntarily and knowingly provides the information, money, or property to the perpetrator. Online fraud may occur in many forms such as non-delivered goods, non-existent companies, stealing information, fraudulent payments, etc. While the first two types of frauds can be countered by setting up official bodies, ensuring the validity of e-commerce companies and promised delivery of the goods, the last two types of frauds are more frightening. Examples of such frauds include credit card frauds and identity theft.
Now, here are some common online frauds. First, charity fraud. Here, the scammer poses as a charitable organization soliciting donations to help the victims of a natural disaster, terrorist attack, regional conflict, or epidemic. The scammer asks for donations, often linking to online news articles to strengthen the story of a funds drive. The scammer's victims are charitable people who believe they are helping a worthy cause and expect nothing in return. Once sent, the money is gone and the scammer often disappears. Second, Internet ticket fraud. Here, the scammer offers tickets to sought after events such as concerts, shows, and sport events. The tickets are fake or are never delivered. The proliferation of online ticket agencies and the existence of experienced and dishonest ticket resellers has fueled this kind of fraud. Third, purchase fraud. A fraudster uses the World Wide Web to advertise non existent goods or services. Payment is sent remotely, but the goods or services never arrive. Credit card frauds. It is where the credit card details of the user are stolen from his or her online activities, and then some payment frauds are carried out using this information, leading to a huge amount of money loss. Fifth, identity theft. People tend to disclose a lot of personal information about themselves in their social networking profiles. This personally identifiable information could be used by fraudsters to steal users' identities, and posting this information on social media makes it a lot easier for fraudsters to take control of it. Some measures to stop these frauds may include a monitoring official body that ensures the sanctity of e-commerce company and the delivery of goods or services as promised. Strong security mechanism by the e-commerce site and payment gateways to prevent stealing of crucial information. Official guidelines and safeguards on the selling of users' data to third parties.
Obscene content. The content of websites and other electronic communication may be distasteful, obscene, or offensive for a variety of reasons. In some instances, these communication may be illegal. The extent to which these communications are unlawful varies greatly between countries and even within nations. It is a sensitive area in which the courts can become involved in arbitrating between groups with stronger beliefs. One area of the internet that has been the target of the strongest effort at curtailment is child pornography, which is illegal in most jurisdictions in the world. It is defined as any visual or written representation that depicts or advocates sexual activity of anyone under the age of 18. According to the new Information Technology Bill, Section 67 has been amended that not only creating and transmitting obscene material in electronic form, but also to browse such sites is an offense.
To report a cybercrime. Cybercrime can be particularly difficult to investigate and prosecute because it often crosses legal jurisdictions and even international boundaries. Additionally, an offender may disband one online criminal operation only to start up with a new activity with a new approach before an incident even comes to the attention of the authorities. The good news is that the federal, the state, and local law enforcement authorities are becoming more sophisticated about cybercrime and are devoting more resources to responding to these threats. Furthermore, over the past several years, many new anti-cybercrime statutes have been passed that empower federal, state, and local authorities to investigate and prosecute these crimes. However, law enforcement needs your help to stop the nefarious behavior of cybercriminals and bring them to justice. Reporting cybercrime is easy. Let's see how. The local police stations can be approached for filing complaints just as the cybercrime cells specially designed with the jurisdiction to register a complaint. Provisions have now been made for filing of EFIR in most of the states. In addition, the Ministry of Home Affairs had recently launched a website for reiterating cybercrimes against women, children online, including cybercrimes. The Cybercrime Portal. The government has created the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal for the convenience of those who want to report cybercrime online without visiting the police station. The portal has been created with special focus on cybercrimes committed against women and children. The complaints registered on the portal are dealt by the law enforcement agencies swiftly based on the information provided on the portal. The portal has a section for cyber crimes committed against women and children, like child pornography, sexual abuse, among others. The other section deals with cyber crimes like financial fraud or hacking, among others.